George Frideric Handel was born on February 23, 1685, to George and Dorothy Handel in Halle, Germany. As a young boy, Handel's father did not support the study of music, citing that it would not garner enough income. His mother, on the other hand, helped him to play in secret. Handel impressed organist Frederick Wilhelm Zachow, who then invited Handel to be his student, and by the age of 10, Handel mastered composing the organ, oboe, and violin. Despite Handel's proficiency in music, his father insisted that he study law at the University of Halle. However, this did not last long, and by the time Handel was 18, he had dedicated himself completely to music. Around this time, Handel became a violinist at the Hamburg Opera's Goose Market Theater, and to get more money, he taught private music lessons. Handel debuted his first opera, called Almira, in 1705, and in 1710, he moved to London where he debuted Rinaldo, which was considered his breakthrough. Handel was then invited to perform in front of Queen Anne and King George I, and he also made the decision to move to London permanently and become a British citizen. In 1727, Handel created his own opera company. And then when operas fell out of style in England, Handel produced more than 14 oratorios. In the spring of 1737, Handel suffered a stroke which impaired movement in his right hand. However, 6 weeks later, he was fine. 6 years later, he had another stroke, and again, he healed very quickly. Handel had begun to lose his sight, and by 1750 he was completely blind in his left eye. In 1752 he completely lost his sight but still managed to work, and Handel died April 14th, 1759 in London at the age of 74.
Who is that fine musician?
That was George Frideric Handel. He's an expert in playing and composing the oboe, violin, and the organ.
He is so talented.
Franz Joseph Haydn was born on March 31st, 1732, in Rohrau, Austria. At the age of 8, he was recruited to sing in the choir at St. Stephen's Cathedral in Vienna, where he learned the keyboard and the violin. In 1761, he became a court musician for the Esterhazy family. He was isolated in the court, so he was forced to become original. He worked for the family for 30 years, but began to feel isolated and lonely, so a prince from the family let him go, where he went to England to conduct symphonies. In 1795, Haydn returned to Vienna and worked part-time for the Esterhazy family. At this point in his life, Haydn was a public figure in his hometown of Vienna. Franz Joseph Haydn died on May 31st, 1809, in Vienna, Austria, at the age of 77.
Enter Haydn, a classical composer who is maybe not as well known as Mozart or Beethoven, but just as influential at the time. So anyway, around Christmas time in 1790, Haydn was going on a tour from Vienna to London and passed through Bonn on the way. And that's where he first met Beethoven. And then a couple years later, on his way back to Vienna, he was talking to Ludwig, I keep calling him Beethoven, Force of Habit. And they were talking, and Haydn was like, hey, you should totally move to Vienna, to the big city, and I'll be your teacher, and it'll be awesome. And then Ludwig was like, sweet, I'm all over that, because you're a cool cat. And then in 1792, he moved to Vienna.